Hello, my name is swissbianco. In this video I will take a closer look at the new Victorinox Hunter Pro lockblade with pouch. As we see it here in front of the camera, that's how the knife and the pocket sheet looks in the box. It's a pretty nice made box. On the back side we see some information about Victorinox in English and French, and then we see more details about the knife. We have the length of it, the weight, also the pouch, there are some information about Victorinox, the addresses and all. Package printed in USA, so that's a bit different story. It's not a Swiss box, I guess, and nobody expected that, how the box look. So that is made in USA. As we open the box up, we see basically the insert. Insert has the sheet and the knife. Be careful as you take out the knife, it holds pretty well in the insert. The insert is basically a recycled plastic that they made like this. We see on the where the point was that it already pierced, so just from a transport, it's just gray velour on it. It's a flake-like material that they blast on it. So all in all, that looks pretty nice. There is no manual how to use other than what it says on the box, so it doesn't come with any paperwork at all. Now I have to tell you a bit about the history of that knife. That knife was more an idea from Swiss Army brand, the US importer of Victorinox. They wanted to compete with some other companies in case of a bigger, stronger lockback, like tactical knife. And that was the idea about this. It is a single blade lockback knife, and that is rather unique for Victorinox. Also the oval hole for one hand opening, which is possible on this knife. There is no pocket clip on it, and also rather unique is that the stainless steel is blasted on the blade and on the locking parts and the back spacer, so it has kind of matte finish on it. Yeah, the rest is pretty traditional. The grips remember me a bit on the fixed blade, the kitchen knives, and it's a lockback knife, so that is rather unique. And it's also unique that it doesn't have any other tools, so it's just a knife with one blade and finish. That's all what it is. It's a rather big knife compared to other Swiss Army knives. It's rather bulky, rather thick, so best to carry it is for sure in the sheet, which we're gonna have a look at it closer as well. So you can easily open it with one hand, close it as well, also with the left if you want. And as I say, the scales are pretty thick. I did already take it apart just to see how it looks inside and to learn about it. And there we see some more interesting features. It's a riveted construction, of course. We see the regular style heads on the on the rivets that lock into the scale. The scales are simple injection molded parts that are put on. There is no more security than those three bigger rivet heads, which are unique for this Swiss Army knife. The heads are bigger and bolder than by any Swiss Army knife, so the rivets itself, that makes it different. Also, what we see by the scale, basically like Wenger did, the scale goes over the rim of the stainless steel liner, and we see of course the liner did not get blasted, just the visual parts, and because the rim goes over the edge of the liner you hardly see there the stainless steel. Another item I have to point out, quick grab my pointing knife. We see here that dimple here, and there is the same on the other side. It's a simple stamped press in dimple that stands out in between the liners. I'm not sure if the camera can see that. In there basically we have left and right a little dimple standing in that acts like stopping the blade. Usually by liner locks, most liner lock system, as you fold the blade down, the blade itself inside gets stopped by a part of the rocker, of the locking bar. Victorinox did not do that. They did go with a rather unusual solution and put these two locking bars, dimples, in place so that the blade can't go any higher and touch either the spring, the locking bar, or the back spacer. So that makes it pretty solid and also easy to manufacture, because you don't have to worry how the locking part is riveted, how much it's gonna move or not, because it's stopping the main blade exactly at that point here and finish. So that is easier to adjust the product, to adjust the knife itself for the locking and all that. I did not take the knife further apart like that for now. We have these stamped out parts here as well on the other side. Basically in there is a part of the spring that the spring can move more freely than it would if it would be just flat like here. That spring gonna power the locking bar of the lock back, and you see already how thick the scales are. It's really a thick scale knife, and if they gonna make a version with more added on tools like a saw blade, which would make sense for such a knife, it's gonna be really thick. With that kind of scales, it's really a thick knife. Basically the scales, how thick they are, they could you could have make pretty much half the thickness of it, and that would have be already covered up the rivets pretty well. But I guess they wanted a really thick handle that is a handful of knife. It actually is not bad in your hand. The cutout here helps a lot. It lays pretty good in your hand, feels well. The handle material is nice. It's a little bit rubberish, grippy. It's not a dual injection molded version like with the Swiss Army knife, the 111mm, the new one, but a single nylon version with some traction grooves, so that is pretty nice. Pretty nice. It covers, as we see, it covers the edge of the liner completely on the side where the scale is still on it, so that is gives you all around a nice feeling. Also on the handle, on the lower side of the handle, any sharp edge is covered, of course, with Victorinox, how they manufacture the knife, with all the stone washing process. There is hardly ever any sharp edges like on the inside of a knife. Many US made or else made knives have sharp edges there, and if you hold it like this, the skin gonna press in and then you feel it. But with Victorinox you hardly have that because of their stone washing process, which also makes the stainless steel more shiny. That would not be needed on this knife because it's more like a tactical knife, but yeah, that is just the process how they do. What is also to be said with that knife is that the rivets for the spacer are pretty low towards the lower end of the handle. Pretty low. They needed that quite likely for have a certain distance for the big radius of the knife handle there. The top rivet here is flat. That basically never was holding on with the rivet head like this. And what also can be said about this knife, the ratio between the length of the handle and the length of the blade is really good. We see as the knife is folded in, we see the distance between the end of the handle to the end of the blade is really short. Many other knives, they have maybe 2 times, 3 times the distance of between this part and that part, and there you have a poor handle to blade ratio. This matters as you open the knife, otherwise the blade would be say 10 millimeter shorter, would only go like this, which would result in a pretty loss of cutting of the size of the blade. So all that is pretty positive. So far I did not test the knife out too much yet, other than take it apart. This 2030 was kinda messed up pretty bad, so I did not test that out yet. That will follow 2014, and quite likely I'm gonna take it further apart as well. To the sheet is based on the Swiss Army style sheet. Has a bit different features with that cord. It is Blacher material. It's like in the Swiss military in the 1990s, they did change the camouflage and some of the backpacks and all that from leather and a similar material to that greenish material that we have here. I don't know the English name of that stuff, but you see that on other sheets, and somehow that did stick on, and that is used on this sheet as well. It's pretty nice made. Makes a good feel. Pretty robust. It's open on the bottom, so dirt could go out, also could go in. What we have here is basically the belt loop is big, really big. For civilian use, the knife gonna flap around should be smaller. That could have be easy made with if you saw on a secondary loop that stops maybe here, just go all the way up, so that the people could have a civilian smaller belt loop and the big belt loop for military use, where you have a big belt. For those it is adjustable, and like a molly system, you can also take that out if you have the pants on and you don't want to unbuckle. You simply put it in like that, and then you have it. How long the Velcro gonna last, that's a different matter. And we see also the number. Yeah, they heated up a stamp and pressed it in, so this is done with a heat stamp. That's the number of the sheet. In case you need to reorder, of course, that is gonna be available as a spare part as well. As we take the knife, we put it in the sheet. It fits pretty well, pretty snugly, because it's such a big knife. Then you put it down, it's gonna look like this. Again, on the top side it's open, on the lower side it's open as well. And yeah, the cordage is a bit, how should I say, cordage makes a bit of poor impression. It looks like a wool cord from the Swiss military from the 80s. We had some things like that, but that actually should be replaced with a piece of paracord. Of course, everybody can make that themselves. All you need to unknot this and take it out, make the same size out of a paracord, which you get in USA in about 3,000 colors and color combinations, and then you actually have a great cord on it, and not a cheaper wool version. You could also play with the colors. If you have a couple of those sheets laying around, you could make one with a red paracord, or with a brown, with a black. Then you know, maybe the brown has this knife, maybe the green one has a plier. You know, there is other items that would fit in that sheet, not only this knife. That much about the sheet and the knife. We will see how well those sell. Price is rather expensive. They needed to do completely new tooling, new design, and the advertising and all. So it's gonna be tough to say if that knife will be a big success or medium. I would say it's a lot of competition out there for such kind of knife. And for a Swiss Army knife, it doesn't help you much at all. It just has a blade. It not even has the toothpick or the tweezer. If there would be scales that would have the toothpick and the tweezer, maybe plus scales with the needle, with the pin and the pen in it, so yeah, you would have more tools, and maybe even on the back side, on the spacer, some kind of tool that you could fold out, or a small tool from the bottom, like a screwdriver, a bottle opener, like a combination tool, as we have by the 84mm. That would really have added up. And of course, for me, and I believe most of the US people, they would like to have a pocket clip on it. There is not too many, other than maybe military and such, that's gonna carry it with the belt sheet anymore. That's pretty much out of fashion. And with this knife is too thick to carry with the pocket clip. If they add on the pocket clip on that kind of scales, it's gonna be too much. We're gonna quick have a look between this knife and the 111mm Swiss Army knife, the Soldier. The version we have here is with red and black scales. Other than that, it's completely similar to the Soldier, the current Soldier knife. So that already shows you how beefy, how thick the new knife is. It's not only longer in handle and blade, of course, it's also the complete handle style, the size of the shape, you know, it's really for bigger hands. But they did a really good job by this cutout here, so that allows also medium hands to hold it well. Also, I want to point out the thickness. If we see the steel, the blade is thicker than the 111mm, but we see that the overall thickness is thicker than the 111mm with the 3 layers, with opener tool layer and the saw blade layer. So you see, it's a different story. Also, it doesn't have any back side tools. There is nothing in here compared to this. I guess that was from start clear with the conception and the design of that new knife. I'm just saying, for a Swiss Army knife, yeah, it doesn't give you much of a advantage anymore, because there is simply one blade and that's it. So yeah, we will see how that goes. I'm gonna test it out for sure more. I will also pocket carry it, and then we see how that goes. Maybe on the SHOT Show 2014 we see if there is a secondary version, maybe even in different colors. The handle could be easy made in a orange, in a hunter orange color. That would maybe attract a bit more the hunter people. The sheet, of course, as well. That kind of plastic material can be made in any colors. That much about the brand new Hunter Pro lock blade with pouch, as I have it here in my hand.